Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is November 22nd, 2024, and Joan Laporta is still on his world tour looking for new investors. Also, speaking of Laporta, he has threatened to ban the supporters section from the Champions League match against Brest. And finally, Robert Lewandowski has compared both Lamine Yamal and Jamal Musiala. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before I begin with the news, I do have a quick announcement because in a few hours I am leaving town on a trip. Part of it is going to be for work, another part is going to be for vacation, but don't worry because I am going to take my camera and my laptop with me, and I'm going to be making daily videos, but they're going to be in the form of short live streams where I'm going to go live, give you the news. I will not address the chat section, just so I can keep it brief and just so I can keep you up to date on all Barcelona news, because even though I will be on vacation, Barcelona won't be, because Barcelona does not stop. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also drop a comment. Now beginning the news that Joan Laporta has been spotted in Doha, Qatar, and look who he has been spotted with, no other than one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the NBA, Magic Johnson. And of course, you might ask, Mo, why do we care that Joan Laporta took a picture with Magic Johnson? And that's because Joan Laporta is currently in Doha and he's attending the Sportico World Summit. And this is a summit that has combined some of the top creatives, politicians, and thinkers from all around the world to discuss worldwide issues and foster alliances across the border. And Joan Laporta was spotted at this Sportico World Summit in Doha, Qatar. And again, you might say, Mo, why do we care? Well, we care because this is still a part of Joan Laporta's world tour, if you might want to call it that, as he continues to travel the world in order to find new investors for Barca vision. Now, as I reported in the previous videos, now that Barcelona are doing really well under Hansi Flick, a slew of new investors have emerged that want to invest in Barca vision. They want to buy those shares of Barca vision that were not paid for by Libero, and therefore Joan Laporta is now traveling around the world, meeting with different investors, listening to what their offers are before making a decision. And so far he has traveled to places like Azerbaijan, Mongolia, and now Doha, Qatar, as Joan Laporta continues to find a new partner in this Barca vision deal, because Barcelona need to make around 35 million euros before the end of the year in order to reach the 1-on-1 rule and be able to register the likes of Dani Olmo and Pau Victor, whose registrations will expire on December 31st. So Joan Laporta is still putting in work day in and day out to find new investors so we can achieve that 1-on-1 rule and continue with our current success. Now, speaking of Joan Laporta, the Barcelona president has threatened to ban the supporters sections from the Champions League match against Brest. Now, as I reported before, Joan Laporta had sent a letter to the supporters section charging them 21,000 euros. This is the total of all the fines that Barcelona received last year from UEFA and from La Liga, because sometimes the supporters section, say racist things. They say things that they're not supposed to be saying, and every time they do, the one who gets fined, it's Barcelona. Barcelona have gotten tired of paying these fines, so they sent a letter to the supporters section saying pay up 21,000 euros, but so far they have not, and as such, Joan Laporta has threatened to ban the supporters section from the Champions League match against Brest on Wednesday if they do not pay up by then. And I have to say, I do not like this. I do not like this at all. I do agree, with the club kind of getting tired of paying the fines. I understand they shouldn't be punished for what these supporters are doing. But nonetheless, to go to war with your own supporters is not a good idea, because if these supporters decide to just stop going, what's going to happen? The stadium is going to be an absolute cemetery, completely quiet. and the home advantage will pretty much go away. So instead, I would prefer that Joan Laporta sits down with these supporters and trying to find a solution rather than go to war with them. Now, speaking of matches, let's talk about 125th anniversary, because it's reported that Barcelona will not only be announcing a new anthem for the anniversary, but they're also going to be announcing a new mascot, just like they did back in the 100th anniversary celebration. This was the centenary celebration where the mascot for that celebration was this clam. I think it's a clam. Yeah, pretty sure it's a clam. It looks kind of funny and kind of goofy, but nonetheless, Barcelona are set to announce a new mascot for this 125th anniversary celebration. And of course, I am curious to see what Barcelona will announce. I personally think mascots are silly. That's one of the reasons why I don't like American sports, because every team has a mascot. But whatever, it's just a mascot. Who cares? We'll see what Barcelona will announce. And speaking of the centenary anniversary, check this picture out of the mascot with the team for that 100th anniversary celebration. And look at all those legends. You have Kluivert, Rivaldo, Luis Enrique, the traitor Figo, and of course the one and only Xavi Hernandez, the greatest midfielder, or one of the greatest midfielders in the history of Barcelona, right there in the front row. A very young Xavi Hernandez, and it's pretty cool. When I saw that picture, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Anyways, let's end this video by discussing Robert Lewandowski's statements, because he was present at the podcast held by Rio Ferdinand. Of course, yesterday I talked about his statements about the Ballon d'Or, but now I would like to talk about what Lewandowski said about Lamine Yamal, because the Polish striker is in complete awe of the Barcelona youngster, and this is what Lewy had to say about Lamine. The first time I saw him in a first team training session, he was 15 years old. It was the first time I saw someone like that in my life, because I've seen many talented young players, but for the first time I said, wow, who is this kid? It's impossible to be so good and so intelligent at this age. Now imagine, this is Robert Lewandowski, one of the greatest strikers of our generation, someone who has played, with some of the best players in the world, someone who has played at the top level. And despite that, despite seeing it all, or what he thought had seen it all, he saw Lamine Yamal and he was like, what is going on? This is a 15-year-old. How can he be this good and this intelligent? And of course, not surprised at all, because all the coaches in La Masia have been saying that Lamine Yamal, they haven't seen someone like Lamine Yamal since Lionel Messi went through the Barcelona Academy. Now, Robert Lewandowski was asked about what challenge can Lamine Yamal have in his career, and this is what the Polish striker had to say. This challenge will be to stay at this level for the next 10 years. I always try to give him perhaps some kind of advice. On the one hand, it is incredible what he has done, but he also has to think that soon for him, the great challenge will be to stay at this high level, or perhaps take the next step. It is not about the next 2 or 3 years. We are talking about the next 10 years, because at that age, he should be thinking about what he should do to continue at the top at 26, 28, or 30 years old. So Lewandowski saying that Lamine Yamal's biggest challenge will be to try to stay at the top for as long as possible, and that Lewandowski tries to give Lamine Yamal advice whenever he can. And if I was Lamine Yamal, I would be very stoked about this, because who better to take advice from someone who has been at the top for many, many years? Robert Lewandowski, one of the few to stay at the top for so long, aside from, of course, Lionel Messi and Penaldo. Now, Lewandowski was asked, since he's so surprised about Lamine Yamal, what about Musiala? Because Lewy played with Musiala at Bayern Munich. Musiala is another very promising young player, and this is what Lewy had to say. Musiala also had something, but Lamine is, how is it possible at this age that he is already at this level? So Lewandowski, despite being impressed with Musiala, he's still way more impressed with Lamine. He just cannot believe how good he is. So for everyone who's always saying, we should bring Musiala, well, according to Lewy, who played with both, we actually have the better player. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I will be uploading another video in a few moments, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Bizka Barça.